Alright, y'all, welcome back to the channel. Been a while. Actually, we're in the new studio today. It's being worked on, so bear with it. I know it doesn't look the greatest, but just got into this studio and we're going to be doing some more work on it later. But today, we are finally getting around to finishing the water cooling, the case mods and water cooling on project Rising in Death. I'm going to do the water cooling loop today, and I already started a little bit on it, putting basically the front radiators together. I realize I'm going to have to take these fans off to be able to put it on the front, but I wanted to try my hand at tube bending before I decided to try to do it on camera. So that way hopefully I wouldn't make a fool out of myself. But right here, my first bent tube, I thought it went well. First try. Second one, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it because of the fact that I'm not sure this is going to clear the case, but I wanted to, because I need a drain valve, but I wanted to at least give it an attempt outside the case. But basically I went on a budget. I had to go on to AliExpress to get the GPU water block because the GPU that's in her computer, there was only one available, and it was on either AliExpress or eBay, I think it was. So ended up ordering from a company called Bixsky, whatever, and got this GPU water block. It looks like it's nice. It looks like nickel plating. I already put the fittings on. But looks like it's very good quality. I had the option of RGB, but I decided not to. I want to go subtle on the lighting on her computer. Ended up ordering a cool infinity mirror CPU water block. Looks really cool. Again, I already put the fittings on it. For the fittings, I'm using maybe the card will say something, as I don't remember what brand they were. Yeah, I don't remember what brand they are. But they're really cool fittings. They're black chrome. They got dual O-rings that go on the inside, and an O-ring that goes on this part, and then it's got a plastic compression collar, so it basically locks it right in, and it has its own tool, which for like me is, I got so much crap on this table that, oh, where'd my tool go? Oh, where did my tool go? Oh, there it is. Underneath. Comes with this nifty little tool for tightening down the fittings. And I'm using 16 millimeter. Using 16 millimeter outer diameter PETG tubing from Thermaltake. Basically, I'm going with a 280 rad up front, 360 rad up top, and after I get the loop put together, I'm using Primo Chill's System Prep. And of course, I already pre-mixed the coolant. I got EK Cryo Fuel pre-colored coolant. It was a concentrate. So I mixed up, I got amber orange and blue, so that way I can make this cool whiskey color. It took just barely a little bit of blue to mix with the orange, but it got this nice whiskey color for the coolant. So, because whiskey, the color of whiskey seems to play a big part in the In Death book series. So, that's why I had to go with whiskey colored to help pay homage to the book series. So, and you can see I've already started cutting tubing, and but I've actually found the best way to cut this tubing is one of these cheap tubing cutters with the plastic cutting blade in it instead of metal. Got it at Home Depot years ago. I bought it for cutting PVC pipe, and it was too small for the PVC pipe I was using, so I just kind of put it on a shelf and forgot about it. And then when I got starting on this the other day, I realized I needed something to cut the tubing. And I don't like the idea of cutting it with a hacksaw, and then you got shavings all over, and you gotta, you know, prep the end of the tube, and it leaves the barbs and all that. It'll tear up the O-rings. But this cuts it nice and clean. No sharp edges to cut up the O-rings. It's great. So, but yeah, pretty much everything I ordered for the cooling loop on this. The tubing I got from Amazon, but then the fans I got from Amazon. Of course, these fans were something I had off previous builds, but everything else, for the most part, I got off AliExpress. So hopefully it'll be good enough quality to not have insane temperatures on their custom loop. But yeah, you really want to go on a budget for this kind of thing. You know, I got a DDC style pump. I did order it. Got a flow meter on the loop. Got that off AliExpress. I did get the ball valve. I got that off Amazon. It was real cheap and I wanted to get it quick. Fittings I got off Amazon as well. They were actually on sale. They're normally like $60 for a dozen. I got them for $20, so I ordered 2 sets. So awesome deal on that one. I think all in all I got probably about, I'd say about $300 total in the loop. Tubing, fittings, blocks, radiators. It was less than $300 if I remember correctly, so not bad. So, be back in a minute and get started. Alright, working on teardown on this thing, and it's actually a good thing I'm getting to it when I did. Apparently this Cooler Master AIO has begun leaking, and has been leaking for a while. I suspect it's only leaking when it warms up, and the coolant is evaporating just as soon as it leaks out, because there's a lot of gunk corrosion around the bottom of the cold plate, the plate that goes against the processor. There's a lot of corrosion there. There we go. See all that ugly corrosion? That is not good. It's amazing her CPU is staying cool. Alright, back to teardown. Well, slowly getting the system put together. Got the 360 radiator put up top. It's loose fitting, so that way I can move it around. Getting ready to put the thermal paste on. Suggestion, if you're ever going to do this, find a box or something, because I have to reuse the back plate for the AM4 socket to be able to put this water block on. You need to keep the back plate, so you got to prop it up in there, but it's kind of hard to have the case up on end. So just, you know, find a box or something soft to prop up underneath the case when you go to lay the computer on its side to hold the back plate on, but without damaging other components on the back of the motherboard. So that way you can put the thermal paste on, and then carefully put the water block on, and test for clearances. So should clear without a problem, because the way this case is designed, it's very cool. So, but basically, just let's get this thermal paste put on. Now on this, it does have an in and out. So the one closest to the ring is the in, and this one is the out. And I got the screws all set, ready to go. Now unfortunately, the CPU water block did not come with directions. I had to get online to look to see where the springs went, and I would basically put the stupid thing together. But after looking it up and seeing pictures, it's like, oh, that's not too hard. These do not require a tool. They're finger screws. Ta-da! be back with further progress.
One eternity later.
Let's get this system filled up. Ah, shit, something's leaking. God damn it, it's my drain tube. It's my drain valve. Disaster averted. I did say this was my first time doing this, so you guys gotta bear with me. Alright, let's see if I can get... Where the hell did my fill bottle go? Oh, there it is. Put it together and fire it up and start using your computer. Cycle the power supply. Okay, why the hell? Because the motherboard doesn't have power. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Stupid me, if I'd been thinking about it, I should have plugged it into the... Alright folks, well there you have it. I know I didn't film a whole lot of the process of putting it together, because, I mean, let's face it, you can get on another YouTube channel anywhere, there's a bunch of them out there about how to bend tubing and all that. Wasn't really what this was all about. This was just mainly to show, you know, progress on Project In Depth. And I gotta say, for the most part, all of the bends, with the exception of the drain tube, I got first try. I was amazed. Being my first water cooling rig, I was amazed. Next thing to do is to test out the cooling system on it. I already ran the cooling through and made sure there was no leaks and all that. It's good. Yeah, these fittings that I got, these are just fantastic. You know, they've got double O-rings, they've got plastic collars on them. They are fantastic. I will try to find the link to Amazon to buy them, and I'll try to put them in the description below. So that way, anybody who wants to do their own water cooling, they do have, you know, sizes other than 16 millimeter. They've got like for 13 or 14 millimeter or 12 millimeter. I'm not sure exactly. I went with the bigger tubes, so it will put less restriction on the pump. And I figured the larger tubes would look, you know, better than going with real thin tubes. So, because the whole idea was to go with the whiskey color for the coolant, and I do believe we accomplished that very nicely. I know it may look a little orange on camera, but it's whiskey color. So you just take a little bit of orange and a very tiny amount of blue, and voila, you have the color of whiskey. So there you go. Kind of looks like, I don't know, it doesn't look like whiskey color on camera, but trust me guys, it is whiskey color. So, I mean, granted, yeah, some of the tubes aren't the best, you know, but getting them all lined up and bent first time. I'm amazed. I actually enjoy this stuff. I want to do more. There you have it, part 2 of the in-depth project. And that last thing I got to do on it is some beauty panels for the power supply shroud, so that way it can finish off the theme of the computer, graphics card backplate, and a little bit of other dressing up on the inside. And this will be done. This was a bit of a fun project. So, if you liked what you saw, subscribe down below. Hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new update, or a new video I mean. And give me a thumbs up. Thumbs down if you're really that mad at the world, if you're not happy with this. If you want to see more videos like this, kinda need to know.